The Peloponnesian War by Eden, Ethan, Abby, Jacob, Colin, Hank, and Dominic. The background on ancient ways of living. Sparta. Sparta was a war-obsessed society with men devoting their lives just to serve in the army. By the way, women were expected to raise physically fit children for the war. Sparta was valued discipline, obedience, and courage above all else. By the way, Spartan's government system was a mix of oligarchy and monarchy. A very dominant city-state with a very powerful army. Athens. Athens were a much more wealth-focused society. They were much more focused on the materialistic items. And men and the only people considered citizens in Athens. 1 in 4 people in Athens were slaves. Athens had a democracy, but only men were allowed to engage in the political affair. Another way, dominant city-state, Athens had a very powerful and tactical navy. This is Sparta after the war. It's very bleak, but still beautiful, even after all the destruction and all the war that happened. It's still visited by millions of people every day. And this is Athens after the war. They more focused on architecture and making their city look more beautiful than Sparta. But if they worked more on their war and focused on their army, they might have had a chance.
Okay, so here there are 2 maps of ancient Greece. The one on the left shows where Sparta and Athens are on the bigger map, and as you can see, Sparta is in the lower left corner and Athens is on the upper right. On the picture on the right-hand side, you can see that Sparta and Athens are actually pretty close to each other. Both of these maps display the distance between Sparta and Athens. These maps have a similar purpose of showing the location of where Sparta and Athens are located. On the left picture, it shows a more zoomed-in picture of the terrain that Sparta is on. On the right picture, it shows where Athens is. It looks like it is an island in the ocean.
In the beginning, the tension started raising when Sparta and Athens both wanted to be more supreme city-states. The first battle of the war was the Battle of Oeno, where Athens first defeated Spartan forces with armies on their superior navy. The Peloponnesian League was a Greek city-state united and allied with Sparta. The formation of Greek city-states in Athens were a line league. Truce like of those between Athens and Sextus the Transford. And also, Sparta wins some battles as well, like the Battle of Tanagar. Eventually, Sparta and Athens enter a 30-year era of peace.
Ow. The battle begins.
Hey guys, my name is Abby, and I am the animator. And this is the picture I drew of Sparta and Athens fighting each other. And this is also the main picture.
In the middle, Sparta claims Athens broke the peace and Athens attacked, commencing the second part of the Peloponnesian War. Near this time, in the 430 BC, a epidemic broke out in Athens, weakening their armies and killing some important people. Also, Sparta begins siege on the Ptila and Athens, attempting to fortify places like Perissia. They had a 1-year truce, etc. I don't know what ETC means.
Okay, in the Peloponnesian War, Athens wore blue armor and Sparta wore red. In these two pictures, you can see the difference in their colors of their helmet and shield.
In the end, Athens eventually is forced to surrender in 404 BC, meaning Sparta wins the Peloponnesian War. Because of the weak Athenian army, poor decisions, and dealing with a strong Spartan army, Athens had to deal with a loss. Sparta is now the most dominant city-state in the area. The last battle of war was the Agostami, where Sparta beats Athens with a naval victory. The general Lysander of Sparta becomes the most dominant city-state in Greece, even setting up oligarchy in Athens following the war. By the way, Athens did eventually reinstate their democracy. And ending this, the balance of the power, Greece shifted, even having Sparta have their very strong naval fleets and a very strong army.
Sparta won!
Here is another drawing of Sparta becoming an oligarchy called the 30 Tyrants after Athens surrendered and got defeated in the war. How was that?
Yeah! The Spartans won, and they won because Athens surrendered. So the battle is over.
To close us off, what was the most important of the Peloponnesian War? The beginning, middle, and end of the war were very important in shaping modern day. The lack of unification and its increase of war shows us that others important of sticking together. And find out the less physical way of solving things. Sincerely, Eden, Ethan, Colin, Abby, Hank, Dominic, Jacob.
Nope.